E. Be a terrible lag until it gets to Twitch. So. Let me just unmute myself for a moment. It'll have a bit of echo, but much you can do about it. A bit of echo, but much you can do about it. A bit of echo, but nice. Seems like everything's fine. So let me set up the links for people. There we go. Let's see. So, welcome to the game for Anarkos versus Becked. This game was started last night, really late at my time. So I glanced through the WOD for this one. Searched to the early chance pretty intently even. And the main takeaways that I had from this one was that there's a really interesting balance in this game where Persia and Anarkos has a huge lead in orders per turn, as we can see from here. Resource production and orders. So Anarkos is making double the orders as Becked is doing, but Becked has a huge lead in science. So there's this really interesting balance in this game where one player is so order constrained that they can't really go on the offensive immediately. But some general stuff. So Anarkos was the second pick in this one, I believe, and Becked got to choose first. Becked went for Assyria and for a hunter's family seat, which makes a lot of sense, seeing how many seeing how there's a game resource in his capital, while Anarkos went for Persia, which makes even more sense considering there's a double pasture resource in the capital, which is one of the big advantages that Persia has, is that they can start with pastures. And the expansion phase went pretty smoothly for both players, I would say, though Becked did get the middle city site over Anarkos. So Assyria has a bit more land available than Persia does. Let's see. Otherwise, let's just do glances here at the leaders. So Becked's leader is a schemer, affable, intelligent, prosperous schemer. Very nice for economics advantages. Even has the butcher's mask, which is one of the more interesting events, I would say. Gives a lot of flat food from that one. Looks like it's their starting leader as well. If I had to guess, Princess is already 44 years old. I would not be surprised if she gets bypassed, as she is a rather mediocre zealot, while the third in line is a really, really good zealot tactician, as I like to borrow from TBM or Bull Moose, is that he would be a 10 out of 10, yeah, with full 10 stats. Probably wasn't that good when he came of age, but at this point it already is very solid. For families and religions, there is Zoroastrianism has been founded. Let's see, the holy city is in Sareza, over here. Not very happy with the Assyrian rulers, though. Family is fine, but not great. Nothing really super noteworthy here, I don't think. While for Anarkos, he's on his second ruler. Very nice tactician here as well. Though stressed is never nice to have. Actually really good if he can get rid of stressed somehow. He still has underage sons, so not quite in play yet. He has no religion when compared to, well, Zoroastrianism. Is he actually going for one? Yeah, he is going for a rancher, so Judaism will be founded in a couple of turns here. His families, the clerics, aren't too happy with him, but the clerics only have one city, so it's less of a big deal than for the other two families. Especially, this map had a really interesting start where the statesmen, where Anarkos went for double statesmen and then double riders, while Becked went for double hunters and then double champions. Oh, and hi Fluffy in the chat. Yeah, I figured that nobody was able to cover this, so I might as well do it. I think I have my audio settings and other stuff like that, like reasonably working, so at least it should be listenable and watchable. I can't guarantee for the quality of the commentary though, but that's always, I figured that it's good for somebody to cover this anyways. So let's see, what's the turn type are we at? We are at tight, makes sense. Let's take a look at the decks. So Anarkos has Phalanx Poked Wheel as his furthest along decks. Hasn't marked anything, so not super obvious what he's going for. Checking Police currently, so might be going for land consolidation or just archers. Not quite super easy to tell. Yeah, let's see, what's the work count here? Is yeah, nothing super. There we go, work production. So it's 10 workers against 4, which is quite interesting. I wonder actually how much of his order usage is just moving units around, considering the huge advantage he has in income, as we can see. So order income is 27 against 18, and still having half the amount of workers. It leaves a lot of moves for military units and internal diplomacy instead of realm building or getting your economy up really fast. Or Becked, they are going for monasticism. Let's see if they have marked anything. Not that I can see. I wonder if he's going straight for doctrine or going to get something else on the way. Interesting that they don't have, they haven't decided to go for navigation yet. but might have been just their lack of straw in this case. Let's see, is there a settler somewhere going for the cleared city site? Yeah, we are in the queue. Yep, and this unit here, this ballista that has the second or first in line the of the Assyrians on it was the biggest talking point of the last match, with Sion being really interested in finding ways how to kill it with these couple of chariots that Anarkos has. But they decided not to pull the trigger, so here it is, still being the big boogeyman of the game. The turn rolls over. Let's see any events. Just some. Oh, this is one of the more annoying events in my opinion. The one where you get a huge slave army if you don't deal with it at all. But isn't the rebel slave with 100 opinion? I can't quite remember how this one ends, but I do think it gets worse from here even. I'm trying to figure out which spear Fluffy is talking about in the chat. Middle Joka Persian spear. Ah, this one, I'm guessing. North of Shiraz. Yeah, it's the only one that I think fits. Let's see, it looks like he's going for a small offensive again. He does have really good eyes, good scouting in this game. It has been, or rather the scouting in this game has been really good in general. With these two scouts, I wonder, the Assyrian scout is now here. But the Persian scouts here and here have done a lot of work seeing where respective nations' units are going. The ballista is actually quite far off position at the moment. If he doesn't want to force much, it would be 2 turns of movement before it can get to shooting anything. So I think there is a small chance to get something done here. It's not very good ground for archers either, with all the shrub. It's understandable though that because Becked has been so order constrained for a lot of the match that they haven't had the time to chop these shrubland or scrub to flat ground. Though it would make the defense a lot easier with combos. Or archers rather. It's a pretty convenient layout for observing with this map, with the northern side being so completely cut off from the rest of the map that as an observer I can just leave the camera here and see basically everything unfold for the entire game. The military side. It's a shame that I didn't catch which city this chariot came from, because there's a good chance that Beck knows that it's somewhere around here, if it moved up from Nishapur on down. But he still does see the entire army here and can see that these chariots can reach the city side. Oh, and interesting, he's actually going for it first. I don't really know what Becked can really bring to back this PMN up though. I guess these archers, but even then it's just asking for the chariot that he sees to be here to swing from the behind and go out the archer. You can really see the order constraint kicking in here again. Because I'm sure that we would love to move this ballista to a better position if he had the opportunity and the orders to spare for it. Let's see how Persia responds to this. Oh, yeah, this is what I was talking about. The repel event is just getting worse and worse. There's the way to end slavery and grab freedom instead, but his economy really is struggling already with this huge negative stockpile. But I hear combat, yeah, the spear's gone. So it's a very unfortunate event with the. I'm guessing that he might actually go for the rebel attack at some rather than the switch to freedom. Yeah, nothing super meaningful otherwise. The most unfortunate part about this is that I don't really know. Oh, this spear move was ambitious, I think, because this chariot is still in a forest, so even these archers will basically they'd have to move really close right next to it, and still it's close to not killing. Let's see if there's an order by here. I would not be super surprised to see. The schema. Oh no, it is switched to tactician, so that's not possible anymore. The schemer is now on the other side of the match. Let's see. I don't quite. This chariot move is really annoying for Becked because he doesn't really have the reach to really go for those units. They are now in the ballista range, which will probably delete one of them, but I don't see how he would get a second kill here. Focus. Yeah, these warriors are so... or this warrior rather is so weak at this point that it's not really going to do anything to the chariot if it doesn't get the crit. Strike. Interesting to see no generals on these chariots though. I guess they are held up on these further back ones. Actually, where is... Oh right, it makes sense that the King of Persia is on a slinger. The stun is a lot better on a ranged unit. Let's see, I'm hearing something about a settler, but I'm once again being blind. Oh, here it is, under the slinger. I think they can nab the side. Let's see what... Because this order constraint is pretty brutal here. Actually, what did he spend all these orders for? Started with 19. Oh, retreating. Makes sense. Oh yeah, thanks Nisa. I totally forgot about that one. There we go. It's a bit of a shame. I really like the soundtrack in this game, but copyright is copyright, I guess. I don't think I'd like this play using what 4 orders and sacrificing a warrior just to delay a turn. I don't really see how Becked can benefit from this. I don't think he can bring the reinforcements and kill any of these units even if he sacrifices the warrior here. Yep, I think the fallback is a correct choice here. Just because of the amount of orders it would cost to bring up forces here, and he doesn't really have any spears. Does he have spears available at all? He does have phalanx, but he doesn't have any spears alive anymore. So the chariots could just run over the ballista here. Judaism is founded. It should be in Nishapur. Yeah, makes sense. He got the second trencher, his capital, this turn or a little later turn. He got here nothing really major. Actually, I should check this. Which laws did he get? He did switch to freedom, so Anarkos got the event. Oh, and there died. I believe this was Archer that was standing here. But Anarkos got the slave revolt event and decided to switch to freedom from slavery. So his economy is completely in tatters now. Went from positive ion to negative ion. Um, no, this game started from like 51 maybe. Nizar. I believe it was somewhere around this. This was the game that was played last night, my time last night. It was a very good opening to this match, so I recommend you to go watch it if you have the time. You might see that both players went for, rather, Anarkos went for statesmen, riders, and then clerics as his fifth city, while Assyria went for hunters, champions, and then patrons as his fifth city. So really late founding times for the last family for both players. See, what's here? Oh, I was probably on the wrong. Yeah, I was on the wrong player, so he's going for phalanx now. This spearman that died here must have been from a event, because as I was informed that there is no card that gives you a free spearman in the text tree, so they have to be from events. and the king, the queen. Actually, moments of your end made me thought that the queen would be doomed, but not yet. Still kicking at 72. No, she is severely ill. And the ballista gets force march here, hiding behind a militia. Let's see if there's a way to grab some momentum back. Assyria, let's... Is this archer dead? Two of them maybe not. Yeah, it's not great terrain for chariots either. Though this... I have a sneaking suspicion that this tactician slinger will be really annoying for Becked to deal with. It can just stun lock this really well promoted focus tree archer or focus tree ranger archer with. Yeah. And like we can see here, it's very good that Persia went for the offensive because Assyria does have 67 science versus Persia's 36. So double science is something that you can definitely get a timing attack here. Especially with Persia when you have this huge amount of orders because of your pastures that you have everywhere. But Assyria is not super far away from getting into his 7th law. Possible 7th law. He has already 4 here. 5th available. Good grab from one from navigation or even doctrine. Metaphysics, I guess, as well. Hello, Solver. Seems like all the devs are here in chat. Let me change perspectives. Yeah, just... I'm kind of just glancing over events if I can tell that they are not the game ruining ones or game saving ones. Yep, aside because this archer is now stunned here, so even if it's a really strong one, it's very... it's like actually terrifying seeing a triple focus with a hero. Is the hero good themselves? Not a great one, but good enough with Horsebane though, so I think this archer, like, yeah, it's close to one-shotting these chariots even on high ground. But because it's stunned, it's completely irrelevant to this fight. And Persia is even attacking here. You can leave. There's a huge amount of just orders that they can throw around. Let's see, actually. $34 versus 22. Not as big of a difference than I thought it would be. Yeah, the map is really cramped here because it's a square duel map. So there's an extra level of sites here, but all the sites are blocked by these mountain passes. This entire mountain pass covers this northern side, so both players are just kind of ignoring it and are playing on like a even smaller version of a duel map. He is neglecting his air at all. I don't think this guy has had a single tutoring event yet, with only one stat at 14. But I think he is figuring that he probably will decide the game during the lifetime of his current king, so why worry about the heirs at this point? Let's see. Family is still hanging on somewhat. Does have Judaism, Zoroastrianism, but is not really utilizing the opinion boost a huge amount. Actually, none of the families are even Zoroastrian, so it matters in this case. Let's do a wonder check. Is there something here that could at least doing work here? It's something that is coming from other games. It's kind of difficult to understand with the free unit cards or the events that give you these really powerful units early on, that how huge of a game impact they have. Like ever since this ballista popped up, this game has had this mini game going on of which player can kill, or if Anarkos can kill this one before it can basically wreck his entire army. Let me check the military score. Anarkos, it has been really tight up until 52, which was the round where... No, actually, Anarkos got units from somewhere, multiple units. Probably finished 2 chariots or something here. But now it's 450 to 650, so it's not enough to... Let's see. Yeah, it's similar strength, according to the game's own estimations at least. But it's this, really. Now that I look at it, these couple of units dying here means that I don't think Anarkos can really push any further here. He kinda has to fall back or lose all his units to this ballista. But while he has done that, the spearman bush here is still strong. And the good part, or the best part about chariots, is that even though this guy is really far away, it can still affect the fight here, even without force marching. But it's definitely a bit scary seeing this ram and this ballista move towards Pasargadae. Yeah, I do agree that this ram would be really nice to stun with this slinger, but this archer is also like terrifying. Not quite as terrifying it could be because of the forest here, but still, it's like this huge amount of crit is just something that can delete units. Yep, let's see if what Anarkos is going for. Let's see if there's anything good on this one. Combat 1. I'll just sit here and see what will happen. Yeah. Going for the hero. Yeah, stuns the... Though now that the chariot has moved away, the ballista can move forwards again. I wonder if it would be... Oh, and this pierce is even pretty brutal. Nope, everything here has attacked and the archer is still alive, the second one. The really good one died though, so... It's a big win for Persian nonetheless. Let's see if he continues to push on the southern front as well. I'm kind of curious that the chariot on this hill went up and did a little bit of damage to this archer rather than coming down here and route chaining these two warriors. But I guess he wants to zone control this one so that it can't move away. Or maybe it was one of the ones that has a general or one of a promotion that made the math work out better here. Yeah, but this is quite scary to see. All these units have done their action, there's still 15 orders in the bank. Though the money situation is still really bad, so yeah, and the family situation is not super good either. But it does seem to me that this economical situation might not really affect the game here. Because this is looking closer and closer to a knockout blow. Because I don't really see how Gozan here can hold against all these spearmen. Even if the slinger pops out there and the warrior marches this away, they still will just die to the spearmen before they can really focus fire any of them down, I think. Yeah, but this was a super nice attack. And that was the tactician slinger that just died, so that annoyance is out of the way for now. Yeah, promoting into spearmen here. He even can afford the second one, yeah, makes sense. I wonder if he goes for the free archer. Let's see. He has marked forestry currently. Interesting. Oh, nice crit. It is. I think it's something that you really notice when you start spectating these the really tight maps. Is that how often the Assyria's 10% crit comes into play? It's just so. Like, there are bonuses that are really good as well, like the Rome's free training and free movement, or like the movement capability that Rome gets. But those don't make a huge sound when they happen, so they are much easier to underrate. So I definitely think Assyria is one of the more interesting nations to watch because of that. Could go for monotheism, but I don't think he has. Yeah, no state religion. Zoroastrianism has. Well, it has 3 cities, so there is some value in going for that. He even has the ambition for it. This is something that I see people do more and more as the tournament has gone on, is running councils in these low development cities that can't rush units and don't really have any infrastructure. I assume it's just so you can rushed units in cities that you can rush units in, or hurry production. A really low investment way to get more resources out of these border cities, like fringe cities. I think the ballista is dead here. Yeah, and their ram is also dead. You do understand why? Oh, you're right. Because Zealot it's not quite dead. I don't think Anarkos can bring an extra unit from anywhere. Yeah, not even with force march really. Yeah, but I understand the ballista is it's a very easy 3-hit attack to make. So it's understandable to go for it, but it's not really worth it to trade a ballista for a slinger. Even if it was a tactician leader slinger. There the king is again. Let's go then fierce at some point. Maybe it was already at the start of game, but I might have glossed over that. It will take a long time for this spearman to take the city, but I don't really see goals and holding in the long term. I do wonder how, yeah, the selling 50 food a turn to cover debts and 30 stone a turn, so Anarkos really has the economy to support this all-out war for, what, 4 turns maybe? 5 turns at most, I think, before he's completely bankrupt. He is shopping to, I assume, sell at some point. But you can definitely tell the impact that that occurred from him having the event that the slave rebellion event that forces a switch from slavery to freedom, or having like what's 9 rebel units in your cities. There is a good chance that even though the economy is not good, that this will be enough of a knockout blow to force Assyria out of the game. Assyria is now also weaker, and we can probably see that in the military score graph. No, actually, it's still roughly the same as it was before. The loss of the ballista was just... There's a lot less concentrated power on the map now. Because now the extra military constraint comes from these upgraded spearmen instead of the ballista. And the spearmen are a lot less scary than the ballista was. Let's see if it would be really nice. Yeah, horse marching here makes sense. Is there a way to get rid of this one as well? Not enough training for another force march, so it seems difficult. Oh, the little militia. See, what a hero. Coming in clutch as always. I assume this is the champion seat founding militia. Yep. There is definitely a really huge ticking clock here for Anarkos. It is also, but it's also one of those things that it's It's easy to say because of we are being omniscient observers here, but I don't think Becked has any way of knowing how close to collapse Anarkos' economy is. He does know that he has a tech lead, and I think that's one of the reasons why he is hanging onto the game so fiercely. It's all being highlighted there as the second RAM. A funny anecdote about these is that technically they got nerfed in the latest patch. I don't think is the latest patch live yet. The one that had some of the fixes for the tournament. Because it used to be that these rams got a combat bonus against friendly forts or forts in friendly territory, so you could build forts in your own territory and then attack into them with rams, denying the enemy the defense bonus, but getting yourself the nice plus 20, plus 50 from this. So, which this would usually just negate the fort bonus, but it actually made this a terrifying unit in your own territory. I assume that Assyria hasn't made any more chariots because they can't afford to, and not just because they don't want to. Because a single chariot here would have been really nice a couple of turns ago. Restrict events, tribal troops, nothing too consequential here. And Fluffy in the chat is saying that this militia was more likely a upgraded worker than the champion's founding one. Yep, I do like Sion in the chat is saying that it's really unappealing to make chariots once you start seeing spears, which is also true. But I do always find really nice to have a unit or two that has just the possibility of routing any non-spear units and just having the huge amount of movement from being mounted. Especially when they were fighting on these hills here, because the chariots could have gone either way here, and there's not really much that Assyria could have done for it other than just building military in both places. I'm wondering, did Anarkos' scout die? Because he had really good vision of this city here as well, but it seems like this scout has died at some point, so Anarkos doesn't see the reinforcement anymore, so he doesn't know that there's extra rams coming in. He can probably guess, but there's still a big big difference between guessing and knowing. Oops, it says Anarkos here. So it definitely seems to be regretful about losing the chariots. And these spearmen still live this turn, they are in friendly territory, they can just hold and heal or even push forwards after this ram has gotten more healthy. And there are no longer enough units to even take Gozan here. I don't think. You need so many spearmen to even break the repair heals that you get from every turn. One of those cases where the champion city defense really comes into handy. Yep, I'll check how much Persia had to pay in resources the next turn. Oh, and the queen is dead. Lived for 76 years, so never to do math on stream, but I think it's hers, like, well, 59 years of rule. And now there's a new guy on the throne, which is, I believe he did bypass. I was talking about this guy earlier, that he bypassed this zealot and went for this tactician, and this tactician is really, really good. These stats are really, like, extremely nice. But nothing else here. And I think in a tactician duel, Assyria would win just because of they can put the king on this archer, or this archer that's coming out from Tushan here. There's the Assyrian scout is still alive. I assume the Persian scout is dead at this point. And now it's really interesting to see what Anarkos will decide to do. It's not really an easy spot to be in. Because I don't think you can really push here without losing units. I don't think you're getting preferential trades here anymore attacking the city, but the economy is so unfortunate that it's difficult to justify going back either. So because of the old queen died, there's a much lower gap between the science. Let's see. Yeah, absolutely huge shark fin here. Basically evened up. But how the delta is so large between these two that Assyria must be leading its decks by a lot. 16 to 13. Must be that Anarkos has gotten either a lot of events that give him free tech or just gone for unit boosts and border boosts and stuff like that. Yeah, it's Assyria's the crit bonuses. It's so incredibly obvious when it happens that it's easy to, like, it's easy to appreciate and it's easy to hate. And I wanted to check this for now for coming purchase. Is there an easy way to check how many workers a player has? Oh yeah, the unit buyer is probably the easiest, but I'll check that soon. Yeah, selling a lot of stone, all of the stone that he gets in a turn, and more than the food that he gets in a turn. Oh, this spear has gone on an adventure. Seems like a desperation play to me. There's a lot of clerics are still not happy here, but it's to be expected because they only have one city. Oh, actually, he did get one of the rams here. Stuns the other one, gets a hit in. I'm not sure if this is still enough to actually win the fight, but it's definitely a way to stay in the fight for a lot longer. Yeah, this is what I was talking about with the chariots here, that because there's this flat area here between the cities, you can move them really fast from north to south. And they did find value. It's a very nice play. I assume that he got vision when this spearman started flanking around after the scout died. Actually, let's take a look at the cities. What is he actually getting? Militia, some specialists. Basically only stuff that costs food, because that's the only resource that he can afford to spend anymore. Or Assyria, we can take. It's 9 workers still left, but he made a lot of workers. I think if we, well, let's take a look at this before other stuff. So the chariot goes down. I think that's the last chariot that Persia had. So the easy way of, or rather the convenient way of dealing with rams is now gone. Now Persia has to go kill them with spearmen, and that's a lot less fun than getting rid of them with chariots. Now that it seems like these are nothing's dying here. I don't think this spearman is in any danger. Which archer is this? I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, here it's the just built archer has the king. So there's also a tactician here now. So one of these spears are dead, I think, pretty soon if they don't fall back immediately. But yeah, Assyria has currently 9 workers and they have built 13, so they've either lost or turned into militia for workers. Yeah, the Persian tactician is also on the field, but I don't think they have vision. They do. I'm surprised that they see so far. Yeah, this. It's officially bankruptcy next turn. This is more than they will have reached the. Rather, they will have like 10 vote left over. So bankruptcy in 2 turns. Gozan does not fall yet. Let's see what this Slinger does. This is probably the most interesting move of this turn. Oh, upgrading workers into militia. That's not a great feeling when you have a triple marble city site. I don't think this. Yeah, no way. No way that the ram is dying here. Yeah, I do agree with Scientific says that this is basically just a attempted morale play, but Becked has had a lot of resilience, I think, mental resilience. It's easy to be really tilted when the ballista dies here, or when you lose the city to the chariot attack. Or even just this, having a city completely under siege, but he has held on really well. Military score, both players are losing a lot. Persia has a larger relative advantage than before. Let's see. Let's talk about laws in the chat. So Persia only has 3 available, getting navigation, so they will get their 4th law next turn. Problem is that they can't really afford to enact it yet, and even if they enact it, they don't really have the resources to build those units. Yep, and there's been a lot of fighting because this is a square coastal basin, but the square's uppermost row is these 2 city sites and this middle one, which are completely blocked by this mountain range here. So both players have just decided to ignore it completely, and it's just fighting over this. This is basically like a Duel minus sized map. How these players are playing it. So there's been a lot of fighting for the entire map. I'm really interested to hear what are like why Anarkos decided to go for the early attack even on the earlier installment of this game during last night. I assume that he saw how much science Becked was making and how much map control they were getting, and decided to just pull the trigger and go for an early war push, try to go for an early knockout. Yep. Unfortunately for Persia, it's the archer or the Assyrian tactician that gets the first hit in. Probably would be even better to stun this spearman here, but yeah, and there we go, crits again. With this completely unpromoted spearman. But it's definitely a show of superiority, a power move to go for the slinger instead. Yep. I'll have to grab a quick drink so that I don't lose my voice already. And I just realized why the game was paused, and it's because I use pause break as my unmute button on both OBS and Discord. I don't know if the players can see what I chat. But I will just click it manually now on while I'm casting. Wait, can't observers pause? I've heard conflicting information about this, but it might be just something with simultaneous and stuff like that. Yeah, there we go, Alcaraz. Yeah. No chatting, but can pause, yeah. But I'll... I think it would be nice for the observer to have pause, but it would have to be a start game option, not on by default. It's actually at 0 HP, so there's only the archers keeping it alive at the moment. Yep, I think I agree with Zion but it's mostly just because for convenience, because I'm not a tournament moderator in any capacity, so it's a bit awkward for me to drag the players into a separate Discord call or send them DMs just to clarify and stuff like that, because I assume that whenever you are doing observer stuff and you notice that something's clearly not working as it's supposed to be, you kind of have to contact the players, and doing that in game would be probably the easiest way. But yeah, it's not a huge thing. Just a being a privileged observer instead of one of the actual players that are doing all the hard work. But yeah, tea breaks over, so let's see what happens here. I don't see Golden surviving next turn. I don't think there's much Assyria can do to save it. This one dead. Where's the king is still here. So there's 1, 2. Let's see. This warrior is only 1 damage. Everything here does do only 1 damage. Actually. It would be pretty nice if Gozen can survive 2 more turns, you can rush walls on it. But I don't think that's quite going to happen. Oh yeah, yep. I keep thinking of the best possible reality instead of the one that actually happens, so because the city is damaged, you cannot rush in there. Same with units that you can't upgrade. Damaged units, which I've noticed that comes into play a lot more often now that Wrath of the Gods is in the game. Because there's a lot of events that do a lot of damage to units in a large area, like a huge earthquake or even worse, a plague. They can really delay push attacks or timing attacks because you can't upgrade your units that have been damaged by those natural disasters. Yep, I do agree that I think this has been my favorite game to watch so far. Or it has the most action as well, but it's a combination of this really tight map and really distinct advantages for the players in like the huge difference between orders and science, and how both players have also leveraged those advantages, and then just like solid good tactical play. In my opinion, I don't think either player have made like they haven't played perfectly, but I don't think they have been like outright blunders. you probably could say that losing the ballista here was a bit of a blunder and losing the two chariots there, but those were kind of one thing led to another, and it's just messy fighting overall. Nice. This is one of those missions that I always take the lower one because I love both of these traits, even if they are bad. Insane and Superstitious have one of the best, some of the more interesting and fun events in the game. Yeah, this. So I wonder what actually happens when you go into complete, complete death. When you can't, when you are negative in cold and you have no resources at all. I don't think that has ever happened to me for multiple turns. It's just a lot of upkeep from something, but I can't. Yeah, it's just a huge amount of maintenance. Yeah, okay, makes sense. But I think it's for Persia, it's just that. No, they even. Well, it's not a lot of discipline, but it's not like a negative discipline spiral either on your court. So it's just from family opinion, I think. Yeah, it's just maintenance. I do wonder how much Persia would benefit if they had clicking all the wrong buttons. If they had vassalage, I assume this would be a lot of extra resources for them because they have been fighting for 10, 15, almost 20 turns in foreign territory. So all of these units are costing extra maintenance, extra upkeep. Still not quite close enough to get this out of depth, but it would definitely help. Let me just check who is. I think, yeah, these production queues are not. These are not the game-winning production queues I really want to see. So after these units die, I think I don't think Gozan is. I don't think Gozan can hold. Though, though, Anarkos is also in a situation where he's making Spearmen as his main unit, but he doesn't really have the resources to sustain building that many Spearmen. So I'm assuming that he's just selling this stone to afford his army. And also, this is a big thing. Navigation in one turn means that Assyria will finally have a lot more orders. Will be with 25% order increase, even a bit more even. Actually, let's see what Persia's tech is. Going for combo. Yeah, it's really awkward for Persia, especially because they do have 4 laws now, but they don't really have the resources to make their unique unit, and if they even if they could, it's just all spearmen for Assyria. So I don't really know how those units would change the game. And the next 5 strength unit that's on it in the pipeline is the archer, and then it's basically nothing. I assume because forestry is highlighted that it would be for Borginaro, but that's really far away. Yeah, like people are chatting is that I do really like how well Anarkos put it that he had an opportunity to go on the offensive. And the offensive was really successful. It's just that the economical base wasn't quite there to support it. So it kind of petered out with no reinforcing units, because you can imagine a world where just these 2 cities even were constantly producing spearmen or chariots or even slingers, and this fight would be a lot more even. But now it's quite, you can just see by the colors that Assyria is quite clearly going to win this fight. And speaking of military score, yep, it's definitely coming down for Persia. It's Assyria is definitely, I would be so happy to see, but yeah, Persia was stronger at one point, so as Assyria, I would be so happy to see it go from stronger to similar, and it will probably go to weaker in like a turn or two. I'm not sure if I would have the presence of mind to actually check that strength number when I was playing with a turn timer, but I guess you have some time between turns. Yeah, it's similar and naive. At one point it was stronger and naive, but the tech advantage has been really in Assyria's favor for the entire game. Yep, and there we go. It's serfdom has been adopted. So now even the order disparity is much smaller than it used to be. Yep, I know Sion is saying that Persia had the chance to snipe that ballista early on in the game, but decided not to go for it or did not see the opportunity. But I do think it was quite far backward, so it's not an easy play to see to double force march chariots to kill a ballista, even if it would have been definitely would have made this push up in the north much easier later on, even trading 2 chariots for a ballista. So it's 6 possible laws. Metaphysics is offered, so it could be that Assyria has 7 laws in 4 turns time, just like in the civics, but he is constantly pumping councils, so he does have a lot more civics income. Well, not a lot more, but a decent amount more civics income than it shows here. Yep, this is something that I've been seeing a lot in this tournament, is just having this these weak cities that can't really contribute that much, they are just pumping council constantly. This one I'm a bit more surprised about that it has gotten to developing now, so it can actually rush units. Oh, and the king is dead. I wonder if the king was commanding some of the units here and died in battle. Much less in debt. Went up, his income went up by 100, but it went from a negative 230 to a negative 130, so it doesn't seem as impressive. Oh, and celebrating a new a new ruler coming into power by a Scythian invasion. Yeah, and Becked does have this scout here. I wonder if he can quickly check his vision. He obviously doesn't see these production queues without a spy master and spy networks, but he can see that these militia are popping up in these cities, and he can probably infer from that that there's not really a huge amount of economic power between that military engine anymore. Oh, this very nice queen consort though. I wonder if that's all where all the money comes from that plus 100 a turn. See this orders graph. Yeah, still a huge difference in orders. Seems like this graph doesn't show orders from laws as well, or it might be one turn late in updating. I do find it kind of interesting though that Assyria isn't building any more battering rams. It's only spearmen at the moment. I think it's gotten to a point where Persia has a lot more orders that they can actually use. I would not be surprised if this turn ends with a lot of orders in the bank. I just don't really see stuff to do with all of these orders. And actually, let's check the road network or connections. Nothing here. I know that, yeah. End year with 19 orders left. Does not feel good. Yeah, this road is really nice here. Makes the reinforcement a lot faster than it would be otherwise. At least there's this interesting tension in this match too, with these city camps here constantly sending raids for the players because neither of them have cleared it. Seeing a lot of barbarian units coming down that way. Actually, we might as well do the family opinion check as well. It's not good family opinion, but it's not in the red, so it's probably bearable for Assyria. I assume that they have, yeah, they have freedom, so it's not the end of the world to have a minus, a negative opinion as long as it's not a minus 100 or more. And I'll check for Persia after turn rollover. And Assyria did decide to go for machinery, going for those onagers. Makes a lot of sense because I think Assyria can see that he will win this fight. So having a couple of onagers makes a lot of sense when you actually try to take enemy cities afterwards. Park one here on this hill, maybe two if you have the means to get them there in a reasonable time frame, and then just take Pasagadai. Yup, it is that. Onagers and the Assyrians rams are a very fast way of knocking down enemy cities. I am kind of surprised though that Assyria is not making more of those rams. Battering rams. I'm guessing it's just that he doesn't have forestry, so he doesn't have the orders to chop for wood. No, no wood income at all. So buying those rams is more expensive than he can afford at the moment. Bobs are up to 5 strength units, which is kind of annoying for Pasargadae. These are just desperation moves, I think. Persia's capital. The barbarians are winning, or the Scythians, I guess, are winning. I don't think this singular militia can hold against these units. Especially, well, these are only strength 4, but these are strength 5 archers, so it more in the fair way seems difficult. I do wonder how many militia you actually need to defeat all these units, these 5 units here. To be fair to, it's also that the same thing is happening to Assyria, but Assyria has a single spearman instead of a single militia, so it looks a lot less daunting. Rushing a second one here as well, so can just start double tapping these. Um, there was a game where barbarian camps converted to a pagan religion. I remember saying that in one game, and someone in the dev team saying that that was not supposed to happen, and that uh, will be changed later on. Oh, I don't remember which one this was originally. If these were barb camps or if they were Scythians at the game start. Ah, makes sense. I do understand why both players decided to ignore these camps because they are so out of the way. Especially before you get exploration. Exploration makes it a little a little bit more bearable to move units here, but once you see that it's a dead end, I get the like it's a lot of negative tempo to move 3-4 units down this way and kill the camp instead of marching them into the middle and starting fighting over this area here. But it's definitely, I can think that it would have been more. I think they have both players have spent more orders defending against these camps now that then they would have used clearing them. Let's see. It's not even a really, well, it's not a great city, but it's a gold camels incense city. It's just so far away that units produced here will basically never do anything. Ending the turn with 5 orders in the bank. Not quite as bad as last turn, but I don't think the overall picture looks any brighter or better than it was last turn. I think that was a dead raider over there. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised Fluffy is bringing up that Persia would have had an easier time clearing this camp because they had an order advantage. And that's kind of why I'm kind of confused by how bad Persia's economy is, because you have an insane amount of orders, and you can have your workers build improvement because of those orders. But I'm thinking that he just spent a lot of time moving his military units around this area here. We're shuffling them around instead of building improvements. Because there was a fight over Gozan early on, and then another fight a bit later on, and then fighting in Basar Kadaya. And of course he does not have a road network at all. Persia is basically only relying on their rivers, which are good on this map, but not quite so good that they can forgive not having this kind of. This single road here is very good for. It has saved so many orders for Assyria over this game. Ah, okay. Scientific is saying that it took a long time to get pastures up, so there was a mistiming in the tech and the units that so getting access to chariots but not having the uh, horses available or the pastures available to actually build them. So some economic mismanagement. And this. The most unfortunate part about all of this, I think, that Assyria can see how this city is tying to barbarians. Same here. Though Assyria does not have ice here, so it's not quite as humiliating, I think. Hey look, a spearman. It's the first real unit in our queue in the last 10 turns or so. Assyria is now stronger as well. So I think Beck knows that he has this game in the bag now. Great. Let's see how many. One apprentice officer here. This doesn't work because I'm on the wrong perspective. This is just some militia dying, I think. But let's see. Couple of stone cutters here, nothing. Everything is burning here, so doesn't really matter anymore. One apprentice officer here. One here. nothing here, just a lot of regular miner specialists instead. Well, here it's one officer. Too soon. Yeah, 4 officers here. This is so much more training just in the capital city. Couple of miners, yeah. So I think this training advantage will just keep snowballing. So it's not just the amount of resources that Assyria has, but they will be able to produce these units faster without rushing them. Or building them and rushing them at the same time. Actually, there was a way to see the player's complete all the area that the player has scouted, but I can never remember what the button for that was. I think it's it's not here either. But they have seen roughly the same amount of area, so I assume that Becked knows that there are forests to hide near Persia's capital. So there is some. It's not unreasonable to move the scout northwards. I wonder. I wonder how many times this city has just completed a council. I think since I started this session at turn 46 maybe, I think for somewhere in the 40s, and I don't think this city has done anything than councils that entire time. Oh. Hourglass at the top menu. There we go. So he does have sight on this area. Well, it is mirrored anyways, but he probably knows that Assyria has not chopped these forests here. So that there would be a space for a scout. But this is definitely the more conservative play to just leave the scout here because it sees all these cities. So you see whenever a unit pops up here, and if the capital is building something, it will come down this road here anyway, because it's the only road, well, not even a road, but a waterway that the units will march using. Yeah, and this has been just some cleanup for the last couple of turns. Not a huge amounts of super sophisticated tactics needed to clean this up. Interestingly enough, this army is also a lot of militia in it. I wonder if those are also workers. I can actually check this. Yeah, this used to be 9 at one point, so Becked has switched some workers into militia later on as well. Much weaker, yeah. It's much weaker and naive is not something that you want to see. Oh, is something that you really want to see. the other way around. When you see that your opponent is much stronger and learned is not what you want to see. It is one turn to forestry. Wonder what's the next move after that one. This is minus basically all of his resource income is just going towards paying debts still. I know that it's really tempting to skip over building hamlets in these kinds of really small maps, but it's really noticeable how much those actually contribute to your gold per turn, especially when you don't run traders and don't have immediate access to money resources. Actually, where is the first money resource? It's this gold here. But that's basically the only income boosting resource other than this silver. So this map is actually quite money poor in terms of sources that you can get without actually building the infrastructure for it. I think it probably takes one more turn before Gozan goes. And, critical, there we go. Good old Assyria. Makes this a decent bit easier to get. That was so many attacks though that getting I assume it's a 10% crit chance on this guy. Yeah, 10% is not super unlikely. You can also definitely tell that it's cleanup mode with this much training banked. It's not in the, oh god, I'm going to try, I will use every bit of training that I have available to me, and now it's like I'll just take the city leisurely and bank up some training. This raid has been dealt with, but there's another one coming. This raid is still winning against Persia. I do wonder why these guys haven't moved forwards. Is there like some soft cap on the amount of units that can be raiding at the same time in the same city or something? Yes, it feels like this guy has been standing here for the last 3 or 4 turns. Ah, makes sense. I think I heard some talk about it being not intended. That's all. Orders spent. Family is not happy, but not in a way that actually would be game ruining in any way. Except for this one, which just makes sense because she was bypassed. But yeah, no land consolidation either. No, I don't. I think these are the same. I don't think anything changed. These look the same to me, at least. Unless there was an... I think the only one that might have been was the exploration to epics or the other way around. These are probably not the techs you want to see, though battle line is not terrible for the maceman. It's just I don't really see it coming into play quickly enough. I do think that Pasargade probably will die to these horsemen. And there we go, Anarkos is calling it. Let's see if Assyria accepts. Yeah, there we go. Very fun game. This was a lot of fun to watch. Lots of interesting plays and really asymmetric in how it played out. Definitely, I would probably give the most of the credit from this game to Becked's mental fortitude in not giving up after getting hit so hard in both places at one time. But definitely this, like Anarkos would be terrifying to play against. Just the aggressive maneuver is so difficult to counter or resist even. But I do agree that this is definitely, it's not too early for a GG yet, so I think this is a reasonable time to throw in the towel. I will take saves of this as well. Yeah, there we go. Just in time. So, thank you for watching, and we will leave the stream here. I'll try to either upload this to YouTube or send the recording to Sion, so he can upload it. I haven't decided yet. But thank you for watching, and see you all next time.